very first piece that I want to introduce to you is that we have energy centers in our body. And for some of you, you've already heard this. For others, it's the first time. We have a thing called a base chakra. It's your first chakra. It's how you ground into the earth. Here's your second chakra. It's an energy center that holds the sexual and the emotional, the creative, the reproductive. Then you've got your third chakra, which is here, which is your solar plexus, your power and your will. Any control issues might be coming up here as well. Nervousness can sort of show up here in the solar plexus. Then we've got the heart chakra, which is all about love, judgment, right? When our hearts are closed, we'll be a little bit more judgmental. We'll have that self-critic going. We might be really nervous. Our heart kind of starts to flutter if we're having to perform. And then we have our fifth chakra, which is our way that we express ourselves. Now, as musicians, anytime you play your instrument, your fifth chakra is getting activated, even though you are not actually speaking. When you're singing, you're engaging the fifth chakra. And then you've got your sixth chakra, which is your third eye, your ability to be psychic and see what other people are thinking, feeling. Maybe even to see into the future or to see into the past. And then we have our crown, which is the top of the head, and that's the seventh chakra, and it connects you with your own spiritual energy, your own spiritual source. So I'm kind of getting out there. We're being a little bit more less in the box today. Every single chakra energy center has a note. Base chakra is the note C. What comes after C on the musical scale? D. Second chakra. Crazy. Third chakra, E. Fourth chakra is F, the sound of love. And they actually did some research. They put cancer cells in a petri dish. They exposed the cancer cells to the note F, and within 7 minutes, those cancer cells either died or transformed. Crazy. So, play F if you're feeling kind of funky. The 4.5 chakra, or the high heart, is the thymus. Your thymus is right behind the sternum, and if you're feeling kind of sick or a little bit nervous, you can actually tap your thymus or play F sharp. Your fifth chakra is the note G. So if you have sore throat, you could play G for like 5 minutes, and it might get your throat better. And then we've got the third eye, your ability to see clearly. So if you're super confused, you don't know what to do, you would play the note A. Right. And if you wanted to connect with that spiritual, energetic enlightenment source or get rid of a headache, you could play the note B. So what I want to do, I just wanted to do a little overview of that. Your energy centers correlate to different notes that you're playing. And then I want to talk a little bit about energetic anatomy. Will actually help you. Are we going to do that yet? No. We're going to dive into playing your instrument from, and you can also do, we're going to teach toning. So when you tone, you actually are going to be biting into an apple, yawning, and hooting like an owl, all at the same time. And the reason I'm teaching you toning is so that when you warm up on your instrument, which is just going to be a quick 5-minute warm-up, you're going to be making the sound C. Can somebody play C for me? I don't have perfect pitch. You'll be able to do this. So you'll be playing the note C on your instrument while you are toning the note C, while you're holding your awareness here. This is the only place your mind needs to be, is here, which is actually kind of funny. So let's take a deep breath in. You kind of feel like you're biting into an apple. Don't get your instruments out quite yet. Biting into an apple and yawning. We're just going to practice with a very basic tone, first tone. Biting into an apple, yawning, and hooting like an owl. Kind of trippy, huh? And yes, please hysterically laugh. Your body is actually releasing. You've just had 4.5 days of being pushed super hard, and this is the place where you just start to unravel. Let's do another one of those, and then we'll bring in the instruments and just laugh. It's just emotion, energy, and motion, man. Just surf the waves. Breathing in. Okay, play your instrument, the note C. You might want to back up just a little bit so you have more space. Bring all your awareness into this area and start toning. Close your eyes. Silently make the sound if you don't want to do it out loud. And gently transition to the second chakra, which is D. Bringing your awareness just below your belly button. Toning silently or out loud. Bringing your awareness gently up to the third chakra, solar plexus. Sound E. Literally make the sound E. Holding the awareness in the solar plexus. And transitioning to F, the heart. Ah. Playing from the heart. It's all about the heart. Relaxing the body. Closing your eyes, breathing in. And switching to F sharp. Toning. And switching to the throat chakra, the note G. Tone it silent or out loud, holding the awareness in the throat. And the third eye, the note A. Toning from the And bringing your awareness to the top of your head, switching to B. And completely when you feel ready. And slowly putting your instrument down. Breathing. Notice the shift in your body. Do you feel any different than you did 5 minutes ago? That was your warm-up. That was you tuning your own body instrument. Do you feel calmer? A little more centered? Is your mind quieter? Not racing? With your eyes closed, your inhale. Imagine a river of light, a tube of light that actually flows in your body. We all have a river of light. Use your inhale to pull all of your awareness into that inner river, just with your imagination and your breath. Using your imagination, perceive this river, tube, column of light. Squeeze yourself into that inner river. In that inner river, acknowledge that you actually have a higher aspect of you that is a master musician. You know how to play every piece perfectly in some higher realm. For a moment, ask that higher vibrational aspect of you to perform your most favorite piece perfectly. And then let that beautiful, exquisite music that you are creating up high drift slowly down to you. Until that feels complete. And when it feels complete, you can open your eyes. How was that for people? Different? Have you guys ever played up high before? Anybody? Has anybody practiced in dream time for like 3 to 4 hours and you wake up in the morning and you totally nail the piece of music you've been working on? No? Highly advisable. Multitasking to its finest degree. So what I want to do is kind of share with you some really basic terms. I actually didn't really do an intro, but I'm a sound healer, I'm an energy practitioner. I've been in alternative woo world for like 20 years or more, depending if you count other lifetimes. Super basic terms. Your divine line, that river of light, did anybody see that or feel that? It's attached to the front of your spine. And when you get in this inner river, you have all the confidence, all of the power, all of the control, all of the connection, all of the love, all the soothing, all the calm you could ever want for. But you've got to be in this inner river on the front of the spine to access it. Sometimes we go outside ourselves to be comforted or soothed or validated. Did I do a good job? Did it sound good? Was it okay? Am I okay? That whole, has anybody ever had any of those thought forms? Just a little bit. When you bring all of your awareness into this inner river by doing this, that's your inhale. That's what it's for, is to get you in this inner river of light. And then you use your exhale to ground yourself into that inner place. Your nervousness totally goes away. You're in a total state of divine connection. That is your divine line. It goes all the way out the base chakra into the heart of earth. It goes all the way out the top of your head up to the heart of source. And then we've got the higher self, which I kind of walked you through. I call it the super self when I'm working with kids. It's like your energy self. We are multi-dimensional beings. You know, when you go into dream time, you're actually tapping into this other realm that's just as real as the physical realm. It just has a different vibration. And music, the power of music, is it actually changes the vibration in the physical realm. Have you ever heard a piece of music and it totally changes your mood? That ever happened to you? You get super fired up and inspired? Well, actually, that music is shifting the vibration in the physical realm. So you are actually master sound healers. So when you are working with your higher self and you're asking your higher self to play this beautiful, amazing, perfect piece up here, it's starting to shift the energy in the higher realms, which then starts to reflect down here into the physical realm. So you can actually use music and playing music, even your practice time, to solve problems, to manifest, to make stuff happen. Like, I really want that girl to call me because I think she's cute, or I really want to ace that exam, or I really want to get into that school. You would actually play your favorite piece of music while you are thinking about actualizing, making that intention happen in your life. If there is something that you are challenged by in your life, pick up your instrument and start playing. And as you're playing, what happens is there's sort of like this imaginary, it's not really imaginary because it's actually real, a doorway that opens up between you and your higher self. And you send these problems, these issues, these challenges to that energetic aspect of you, the higher self. And you say, hey, that super cool part of me, fix this. While you're playing the music, it opens the doorway. It's kind of like a key. Use it, it's incredibly powerful. So you'd solve your problems, you'd manifest your intentions. What else can you do with music? Yeah, solving problems, calming the mind. Does anybody have any problems calming the mind when they're playing? Does your mind ever run? A little bit? You start thinking about other stuff? Okay, so I'm going to have you actually play the instrument. Let's just, does everybody know the same tune? Is there like one tune you all know? You know, row, row your boat, row, row, row your boat.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Do you guys all know Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? Okay, right? Is there another one you would prefer to play?
Ode to Joy.
How about what?
Ode to Joy.
Ode to Joy. Okay, Ode to Joy. So I'm going to have you play just 2 or 3 minutes of Ode to Joy. And what you're going to do is you're going to just play the music and watch your mind. Within 20 to 30 seconds, you are going to have a thought other than Ode to Joy. You're gonna be like, okay, so like, when's this class over? Or when am I going home? Oh, if I pack, I have to remember my t-shirt that's drying in the bathroom, right? You're gonna have like some random thought that just pops up. Invite your mind to send that thought up to your higher self to do whatever it needs to in the higher realms. So you don't have to fix anything, and then you just come back to the music. So instead of judging it like, ooh, it's bad that my mind is running when I'm playing music, it's more like you're watching that little cloud of thought come across and you're like, oh, that, boom, fix it, back to the music. Boom, another thought, fix it, back to the music. Another thought, fix it, back to the music. And after doing this for 3, 4, 5 thoughts, those thoughts start to slow down. Thought, fix it. Thought, fix it. Music, 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 music. Thought, fix it. So it slows down. So let's do Ode to Joy, watching your thoughts, tossing your thoughts up to your higher self to fix, to shift, to do whatever. That thought is there for a reason. But don't keep it down here in the physical realm. You can't do anything with it in the physical realm, especially when you're playing music. Ode to Joy.
Start on B.
Starting on B, watch your thoughts, toss them. Just 2 to 3 minutes, but I'll just kind of watch you.
Doesn't matter.
Star, no star.
One F up, you like it? Okay.
Cello starts. Ready? 1, 2, 3. How did that feel? Were thoughts slower? Did they come at all? A little? None? Anybody have any thoughts while you're playing? And did you toss them up? And did you notice that it started to slow down at all? Good. Let's do that ode to joy, just like the first stanza, but hold the awareness that all of you are actually playing this piece at the level of your higher self together. So you all have higher selves, and you're all totally playing this beautiful, exquisite, perfect piece up high, and you're having this amazing conversation in this higher realm that actually exists with your imagination, your energy self. Play ode to joy up here, and then let your physical body play it here, but it's first happening and supporting you here in this higher realm. You get that? You understand it? You guys have imaginations, otherwise you wouldn't be musicians. Ode to joy. Higher selves. We're now being multi-dimensional beings. Level. Was that any different? It felt stronger. It actually gave me goosebumps, whereas the first time it didn't. Any other feedback or questions on that technique? So, did any of you play with other musicians when you're at home? Yeah? You don't actually have to be woo-woo with them. You don't have to be like, hey dude, higher self, all right? Like let's play up there and then reflect it down here. You can do all of this silently. So whomever you're playing with, you just see yourself connecting with them in this higher realm and playing beautifully and exquisitely and actually rehearsing for 20 hours before you go and practice with them or play with them or perform with them. You've got it down, you've got it nailed. And then it simply gets reflected down to you while you're in performance or practicing with them. So you're kind of like setting it up, prep. Musicians are all about preparing. So we're just taking it to a whole other level. Good. Should we touch upon the confidence bit and bring in some techniques to help confidence, insecurity, nervousness? Has that been an issue for anyone? You guys just solid, never nervous. Getting in front of that mic last night and just ripping it out. There were a couple of you that went totally just, yeah. So, I'm gonna actually speak to last night. CJ, right? He's been playing for a couple incarnations. We can already see that. He's not a newbie. And I was watching what he was doing compared to even Jeffrey and Randy. And what CJ was doing that I didn't see a whole lot of other people doing was he had all of his awareness completely and totally angled in on himself. And his attitude, and I might be putting words in his mouth, but it was like, get the fuck out of my way, I'm gonna do this. And it wasn't, and I don't think something will really say that, but that was kind of the energy and the attitude. It wasn't from a place of anger. It was just more like, I've got a job to do and I'm doing it, and I don't need to impress anybody, and I don't need to control anybody, and I don't need to manipulate, and I don't have to like prove myself. It was just all about him on some level. So I'm going to invite you, when you think about playing, to have all of your awareness turned in. This music is a passion, it's a joy, but it's a job. Because what you do when you play music is you open these little like energy portals and you start shifting the energy on the planet. That's what we're really doing in the background. So think about playing from that place of, this is for me, and this is a job, and I love it, and I'm gonna do it, and no one's gonna stop me. Does that make sense? It's pretty cool. cool stance, actually. Like, I'm gonna tone. Total awareness inside, right? It doesn't matter what you think or if you feel anything at all. So literally feel like it's just completely and totally for you. Is that the first time you've heard toning, actually? Maybe the second or the third. I love that you guys are laughing, it's great. Let me bring in a couple more pieces. You can laugh out loud, really. I will not be offended. And you can even tone too if you want to. You're gonna feel so good after this class. So, confidence. When we have these little energetic glasses. Isn't this a fun class, right? It's like the end of your camp. We have these energetic glasses. And if I take, can I use your, actually I have some glasses that I want to use. Can we do a little experiment? And give you the visual. I think it's actually kind of funny. So I have these glasses on the top of my head, and it's how I reference point my reality. It's through the eyes that I see. And if I do my toning, and I've got my glasses on the top of my head in an energetic level, I will be completely and totally confident and not nervous at all. But if I place my glasses on someone else's head, and I go to tone, and I'm kind of looking at myself through my glasses on his head, life is going to start looking really weird. And I'm going to start feeling really weird. And I'm going to start hearing all of his thoughts and literally seeing myself through his eyes. And I'm going to try to tone, ooh, ooh. I just don't, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Now, so what I'm going to do with my little higher self energy fields is I'm going to take my glasses off of his head, and I am going to clean them, clear them, right? Gotta clean them and clear them. Otherwise, I'm like, his stuff's on it. It's not that your stuff's not good. I'm sure it's good for you. And I put my glasses back on my own head. So the moment you are going in to do a performance or play with somebody else, ask yourself the question, do I have my glasses on my own head, or did I put my glasses on their head? There's another little scenario that can come up, which is slightly more complicated, and that is if somebody puts their glasses on your head, you are now going to feel their insecurity, and you're going to think it's you're going to think it's yours. So when I put my glasses on your head, he might have started to feel my insecurity.
But isn't it that, like, we do that automatically? Like,
Yes,
you watch
we do.
someone perform and you're like, oh, they messed up. They must be feeling really bad right now.
That would be you putting your glasses. No, that would be them probably putting their glasses on your head.
Oh, yeah?
And then you are then empathically feeling and hearing all of their thoughts that they're having about themselves. It's called empathic sensitivity. So check, when you're nervous, is it really your nervousness or is it someone else's that you are empathically feeling? So that's the major piece of confidence. The other component of confidence is staying in your, what's this thing? Front spine in the body? Divine line, river, tube of light, column of light, channel of light, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. Shushumna in yoga. Divine line, tube of light. Get in there, keep your glasses on your head, see yourself performing at a beautiful, exquisite way at the level of your higher self, reflecting that energy down to yourself here. And I don't think you're going to be very nervous. Good. The next piece that I want to go into is the most fun. And I only need 1 minute to 2 minutes. Maybe we should do question and answer and then have people do it. So basically, I have this gift of being able to see you play for 1 minute, 2 minutes, and I can identify where you are not playing from, that you could actually play from, and it completely and totally transforms the way you play. There are a couple of people that have already done this. So what I want to do is just do a quick little Q&A. Does anybody have any questions about the material that I've covered so far before we go into that piece of having you guys perform and identifying your power spots. Yeah.
When you're toning, how do you breathe? Because you run out of air, and then do you just like stop singing and take a deep breath, or do you take a quick breath, or what do you do?
It varies, but I will usually do a pretty quick breath. And if I'm bringing in a long tone, I take classes and lessons from a music teacher, so she's kind of teaching me about the whole body dynamics. But when I'm toning, it will be usually inhaling through the nose and then holding the breath actually kind of down here and feeling the power of that so that I can get a really long tone, and then a quick breath inhale, but filling up more the base in the belly as opposed to just filling at the upper lungs. And the easiest way to, we're kind of coming back to toning, the easiest way to get really good at toning is to make sure that the back of your throat is really relaxed. And then start toning in the shower when no one is home, because the shower acoustics are really cool, way better than your car. And if you're at like a music academy, right, I tried to sneak into like the performance hall and tone because it had such amazing acoustics. So you guys do have access to these music halls. Go in there and just go, ooh, just a little bit. It sounds amazing. And the other piece is that if I'm going to get a little out there because I've already gone out there, there's this energy that is called the spheres of sound, the spheres of music. And when we are musicians and we are called to the energy of music, that is an indicator that our soul, before we were incarnate in human form, actually hung out in the spheres of music. It would be sort of like these muses and these nymphs playing this extraordinary music. And I invite you to remember that some part of you has played in these magical spheres. And you can actually invite these beings of love and light who play in the spheres of music to come and actually play with you and around you when you are performing or when you're practicing. And it can be a pretty surreal experience. I've done it several times when I've been recording, and I'll say, spheres of music, come and encircle me. And it's literally like feeling all of these angelic beings, like an angelic choir, encircling you, and you will literally start playing the music that they're playing in the higher realms. It feels really cool. So do that in your practice time. Spheres of music, spheres of healing, encircle me and help me play. Have your higher self play and practice. There's another piece that I want to bring in before we go into the play practice time, and that is procrastination. Procrastinating, practicing. Does anyone do that? Okay. So the way to actually not procrastinate is to invite your higher self, your super self, to start practicing the moment you want to start practicing. And then you're doing the dishes and you're like maybe cleaning your room because it's the last thing that you want to do, but you would rather clean your room than play your music. And some other part of you has already started practicing, and you literally get pulsed into the activity of practicing because you are inviting some other part of you to get on it, and then you get pulled by that energy. When I'm working with kids, not so much adults, this is really more about your imagination because you're still energetically connected with this energetic aspect of you. When I work with adults, I have to say, okay, your higher self, work with your energy fields to start practicing your music. But if your imagination is very active, you already have and still have those channels set up. So that's one way to get out of the procrastination cycle. And then you could even say, okay, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I want to practice for an hour and a half. And you see yourself at 3 o'clock practicing for an hour and a half. And you're preparing, some part of you is preparing all day long to sit down at 3 o'clock to practice at 3 o'clock. Because you set that intention, that time, and you allowed and invited this energetic aspect of you to start preparing and setting up what I call the grids to engage in that activity. Good. Dream time. Practice in dream time, perform in dream time.
Can you explain the concept of dream time and accessing?
Dream time? Yeah. So when you are using your dream time to engage in a particular activity or to figure out a particular problem or to master a particular piece, you are simply acknowledging that there is some energetic other aspect of you in a higher realm that is going to come fully online when you're dreaming. your mind and your body kind of all sort of get very quiet, ideally. And when you lie down at night and you are about to fall asleep, you just say, I invite some part of me in dream time to practice the concerto, blah, blah, blah. Or to really hone this one piece, or to study for my science exam that's happening in 3 days and still take physical time to study. So it's a simple request. You can even say, I invite my higher self to practice whatever it is you're wanting to practice. And then you might wake up at 6 a.m. and just rip it out because you've been doing it all night long and you literally have pulsed and driven to do it. Have any of you just sort of had this obsessive thing like, get out of my way, I have to pick up my instrument and play? Wouldn't that be so cool if that happened all the time? Great, let's make it happen by simply asking your higher self to have that kind of obsessive compulsive disorder with music. Does that answer your question? Yeah, simple intention, using the imagination, making the request really to your higher self, and I'm going to throw in your higher self, your body to its higher self, your team, the energy consciousness that surrounds you to work with your energetic fields and the guides to engage in the behavior, the action that you are truly intending. So that's recorded, and you can bring that particular formula in and listen to more of my stuff on my website. I've got like a ton of meditations about clearing procrastination, motivation, passion, self-confidence. There's like 1,000 meditations online. But just use that formula, it's faster and easier. Good. Any other questions before we dive into practicing and honing your power spots? Which is just like 1 minute to 2 minutes of playing. Pretty clear? Good. So this next